Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Wednesday, May 27th. Winning cures everything. This is Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we are going to talk about some stuff that ain't sports related, but we've also got sports stuff to discuss as well. College football, maybe a little NFL type of stuff, and then we'll talk about the NBA to close this thing out. First things first, as you all know, head over to the website. WinningCuresEverything.com is the place to be. You can go check out all of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms, etc. Do yourself a favor. Anywhere that you want to subscribe is over there, including this live feed here, which is where all of our stuff is, right? Michael jumps in, said, "What's up, fellas? Happy hump day," and McKinnon as well. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, or Twitch for the live video show. The podcast is on whatever your favorite podcast app is. Apple, Spotify, Google, Overcast, etc., whatever it is. Sent this over to Chris this morning. Have not been paying attention to this whatsoever, but we have been charting on Apple Podcasts for the entire month of May. Kind of surprising, because we have so many people come in on the video feed. I just didn't think that the podcast was, obviously it's there every day, but yeah, we've been trending. We're top 200 every single day in the sports category, and yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. We appreciate everybody that's downloading and listening and enjoying the content. Keep sharing it out. Keep telling your buddies about it. Leave reviews, and make sure you subscribe, and then hit unsubscribe, and then resubscribe again. You know how this thing works. So, as we've talked about, podcast, next thing, Tunica, Mississippi, the South's premier sports gambling destination. They are open. They are rocking and rolling. All 6 sports books are ready to go. Head on down there. They've got different poker tables over. They got slots. They got, everything else. Everything else is rocking and rolling. So, make sure you go check out more information about it at tunicatravel.com. Disney World and Vegas are opening.
Yes, sir.
There's a little bit of normalcy coming back into life. Now, it's not that I'm making a trip to either one of those places anytime soon necessarily, but if I wanted to, then I can. Like, I think it's a massive deal across this country when Disney World and Vegas are shut down. Like, Vegas is adult Disney World, right?
Yes.
When those two are shut down, it means there is something really, really, really wrong. But when they're back open, like at the dates right now, Disney, July 11th for the Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom, and then July 15th is Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Vegas is June 4th for MGM Properties. Basically, the whole city is reopening June 4th. Michael said having the options to go makes a huge difference. Yeah, it's just a mental thing. It's a mindset of, hey, okay, everything's kind of getting back to normal. I think we're going to be fine. Because when everybody's panicking, it's because you can't go and do any of these things. You're kind of freaking out because you don't know when they're coming back. Now, even though it's going to be July for Disney World, and it's another week or so for Vegas, like, I felt a lot better about the state of things today once I saw these. Tell me what you felt.
Yeah, man. No, I've been waiting to see when Disney was going to open up. We heard Universal was opening up last week, and they have their plan starting the very 1st of June. And I figured, man, once Universal does it, Disney cannot sit by too long because their property is easily 3 times the size of Universal.
It may be bigger than that. Michael,
it might be bigger than that.
Michael said winning cures everything Vegas trip. We were kind of planning on it for the NFL draft. But
I was really, really planning on it and considering it for the NFL draft. Yep.
And so, eventually, we're going to make our way out to Vegas again.
I'll tell you this, the draft will be there. The draft be in Cleveland next year. I'm going to that. I will be in Cleveland. I don't know if I'll be just standing in the street watching the draft, but I'll at least be in Cleveland.
Yeah.
The year after that, they're going to Vegas to get Vegas is in. Wouldn't hate doing that again.
Yeah, I can believe it. I would, you know what? I'm good with going to Vegas basically any football weekend, any basketball weekend, whatever.
Look, the only time I don't go to Vegas, I have a moratorium on Vegas in the summertime.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
fat and it's hot. I don't
about
do that shit.
125 degrees outside. Like,
No,
I'll
no,
pass
you
on
cook shit at that temperature. I don't do that. I'm out.
Hey, I went in September a few years ago, and I mean, it was almost 100
September's
degrees.
the very end of September. You could get me last weekend of September, first weekend of October. I could have my arm twisted. That is the line of demarcation.
Yeah, Matt jumps in on Facebook. He said the YouTube comments are not working. Yeah, we got a no. Michael,
That's a YouTube issue, not a us issue.
Michael said Gary probably blocked him. Just ridiculous, I swear. Huey said nothing like going to Disney to pay $8 for a bottle of water, standing in line for 2 hours for a 90-second ride. Hey, it's the American dream, Huey.
If that's not your thing, then don't do it. All right, cheapo.
That's
okay.
Go to Vegas. Go to Vegas and spend $10 on a bottle of water at a stadium where a not good football team plays. I'm just throwing it out there. So, at Vegas is fine. Disney World is fine. I like going to both of them. And they're
both reopening, and that's good.
Thank God. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
So the YouTube thing, there's a YouTube API problem with the service that connects us live everywhere. I think that it should at least be showing the show. But if it's not,
I got no idea what any of that means that you just said.
Yeah.
YouTube ain't working.
Here's the deal. YouTube ain't working. And
that's Mississippi for you.
Yep. But I will have it posted to YouTube later if it is not going through the live feed. So we'll get it out there one way or another. No worries. So anybody that's joining on Facebook, etc., if you just want to go download the podcast, help them Apple numbers. Just saying. Michael said it is showing on YouTube. Okay, so it's at least showing, but the comments aren't working. That's fine. Everybody jump over to Twitch or Facebook or Periscope or whatever and jump in there. So let's dive into the next thing. And I was really excited about this today. And I don't know why. Like, I'd been hearing about it, and it didn't really, but then you turn it on at 1 o'clock, and the SpaceX shuttle launch is going on. And I'm like, man, I hadn't watched a shuttle launch since I was a kid, I bet. So this could be fun. And they keep talking, and they're bringing on Katy Perry, and they're bringing on all these different celebrities and whatnot. They bring in one of the dudes from NSYNC, and they bring in what's the American Idol chick that you and I both thought was what's her name? Kelly Clarkson. They bring her in for a minute, and they do all this kind of stuff, right? So they've got all this stuff going on, and they're talking about all the stuff that went into like the preparation, and it's the first time in 9 years that the United States has launched a rocket into space. And then they have to cancel the damn thing like 17 minutes before it's scheduled to launch because they were having, a tornado warning, and they had like all these different things, all because of Tropical Storm Bertha, which actually made landfall today in South Carolina. You and I have talked about this before. We talked about UFOs and aliens and all that kind of mess on here last month. We're kind of interested in this. It's not like we're going to deep dive into it and figure out exactly how space works and whatever, but we are at least.
No, but I like space.
Yeah,
I like it. It's something that, I don't know enough about to talk intelligently at all. But if somebody who does know anything about it, I'll sit and listen all day long.
Oh yeah.
All day long. Planetariums are my favorite museum type thing to go, to visit, to watch, to listen, to read, learn as much as I can. It's just something that I'm interested in. I think it's neat. I think it's different. I have no idea what it leads to or where it goes, but I'm intrigued. I'm in.
Yeah, the same here. So they had to cancel today, which could you imagine being in that situation where you're an astronaut and you have been picked to go, and there's only 2 guys that are going on this mission, and you have been prepping for years, and you're in your suit, you are in the ship, you are getting ready to roll, and they're like, nope, never mind, not today. Can't do it today. Like, we're going to push it back, so they're going to try again Saturday.
I don't know what those nerves are like. I do think both of these individuals have been to space before, so it's not now, like I said, that was a long time ago, obviously, and it's not something you do all the time, so anytime you do, it's amazing. But I think both of these people have been to space.
Well, let's try and compare the two.
First time to go up, and if it was your very first, and that got canceled, and then 2 or 3 days later, I don't know that I shit for 3 days. Like, I just, you just all tight and just like, all right, this isn't loosening up until I'm gone.
Yeah. Well, all right. So which one is worse? Having a space shuttle trip, even if you've been before, having a space shuttle trip canceled, going to space, canceled like 30 minutes beforehand, or say you're a parent that has we'll just toss it out there, a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and you're supposed to go to Disney World and the coronavirus pandemic hits. And then you can't go. Which one's worse?
The parent-kid thing is the worst because kids just don't understand it. We told our kids yesterday about our trip to Myrtle Beach we've got planned, and it's been relentless. Just a million questions like we're going tomorrow. And I'm just thinking, you know what? I'm about to stop telling you people stuff at all. I'm just going to wake up one day at 6 a.m. in the morning and get your ass in the car. I packed all your stuff last night. Get in the car. We're going.
There you go. Yeah.
The telling kids about trips and then if they get backed out on. And listen, I've been through that. My entire life before my dad was completely disappeared out of our life was every summer, oh, I'm going to come get you and we're going to do X, Y, or Z. And just ghost, just in the wind, just never heard from. Just silence.
It's better to not know about it than to plan.
9 months later, and you're talking 12 years old, 10 years old, just get your hopes up. That you're just going to see your dad. And then, nothing happens. So, I mean, I get it. It's tough, but being that parent now, no, there's no way. There's no way if we had our Disney trip planned and it got canceled, I don't know how. And then not only did it get canceled, but now you're locked in the house with these bastards for 3 months.
Oh, my God.
No,
forget that.
No.
All right, Huey jumped in on Facebook. He said, I had a doctor tell me Mercury was in Uranus. I told him I was not into astrology. He said, no, my thermometer broke in your rear. I swear to God. Michael said, it's pretty cool. I was really ready to show my 5-year-old. Yeah, 100%. Kids are all over this. Huey said, I think The Simpsons had an episode about Homer going to space. Yeah, I believe I remember that. And then Michael said the parent thing is much worse. Kids don't understand. They have zero patience. Yes, 100%. Elon Musk has got to be pretty irritated by this, I would imagine. He doesn't seem like a patient individual.
So I actually wondered, because the skeptic is always in me. They knew this weather was coming. Do you plan it for a time where you think it might get canceled? Because I liking this kind of stuff. This was on my calendar of things to do today. Get home by 3:00 so you don't miss this.
Yep.
And so I was planning it, preparing it, but I don't know a lot of other people that were looking forward to it other than as soon as word got out today it's happening, it kind of picked up steam. Now we're going to spend the next 3-4 days of talking about it, build up, and then you're going to get it Saturday or Sunday. I think if you're Elon, these people are talking about you. These people are talking about what you're trying to accomplish. They're going to try to fill the airways with information. And at some point in time, the information of getting the rocket up and back is not going to be enough. And they're going to want to dig deeper, and deeper gets into Elon and his vision and SpaceX overall.
Yes, yeah, so this is just another advertisement. I think
there is a marketing situation here where, he wanted to see this thing happen. I think they're going to milk the hell out. And I would too, by the way. And that was my thought is how many of these people were like, pull the plug? As soon as we thought it was iffy, pull the plug. We'll get it as close to possible, and then we're going to pull the curtain out from under them because we want to milk this thing, and we want to try to get as much information out there into the ethos as we can.
I will say this, like I turned it on at 1:00, Central God's time. It was really entertaining. Like obviously some of it's kind of cheesy and some of it's
I missed
whatever.
All the crap you talked. By the time I got home at 3:00, all of the bullshit was done, and they were just talking about the mission, people going on the mission, people.
Yeah,
all the celebrities were out of there, and I'm good. I don't need Katy Perry to talk about it. She's the last person that I would like to hear talk about something.
Olivia Munn was talking about it.
Don't care.
Yeah, don't care
These
about that.
people are beautiful. They are talented. they sing songs and they act and they do amazing things elsewhere.
And they know nothing about
You don't know
this.
anything about. I know more about this shit than you do. I don't need you talking to me about it.
Pretty much. But I will say this, outside of the celebrities, because I don't care one iota about Matt Hughes said she bring those sharks. Nah, left shark was not there. Not there. But she was wearing like some weird space outfit. It was just goofy.
Of course she
It
was.
was just ridiculous.
Of
Ridiculous.
course she was.
Whatever. Go back to American Idol, girl. It's all good. Yeah, just all of the information where they were talking about how SpaceX was built and, you know, what Elon did when he initially went to NASA with this idea and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the whole thing was pretty riveting, and I'm kind of happy about the fact that we're going to get this for another 3 or 4 days leading up to Saturday. I thought it was incredibly interesting and pretty entertaining. So
yeah,
now we got to
learn more about it.
We got to learn. We got to learn more about what the weather's going to be like on Saturday. It looks like the weather's going to be kind of Saturday. Sunday is supposed to be completely clear. So you know your first chance will be Saturday. If that doesn't fly, then you're going to go back in and try it again on Sunday. If I were them, I mean, I can't imagine what the nerves are like to get ready for something like that. So it's like I would probably just push to Sunday.
Yeah, if you know the weather's still bad Saturday, I wonder. Because at some point in time, they got to stop burning off fuel just to burn off fuel.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, I get that the fuel is a drop in the bucket compared to everything they have spent, but it is still a massive resource that you just don't go to the Shell station and buy.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. All right, let's jump off of that. Let's get back into sports here. Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Now, obviously, the Egg Bowl, big rivalry, especially down here. You and I both live in the state of Mississippi. It is about as hate-filled right now as it could possibly get. I think that the most hatred and the most venom was the last year that Dan Mullen was there 2 years ago.
Yep.
Right after the NCAA.
It has dissipated a little. I do believe the hiring of the two new coaches that we have in Leach and Kiffin is going to, over time, ease this thing down. But right now, it is still just full of piss and vinegar.
100%. And now we've got something that you don't really see an awful lot. Now, every now and then you will see coaches that leave, one school and go to a rival. The biggest one back in the 90s was Bill Oliver, defensive coordinator for Gene Stallings, left and went to Auburn. And that was a massive deal because Brother Oliver obviously built up that Alabama defense and turned it into what it was and, won a national championship, blah, 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 blah. But he thought that he was going to be able to get the head coaching job at Auburn. And he knew, he'd been told he would never get it at Alabama. But blah, 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 blah. In this situation, obviously Mike Leach had the unfortunate tweet earlier, and you knew that was going to lead to some transfers, right? So we've already had one, and defensive back Jerry Jones announced on Friday that he was going to Ole Miss. Now, you don't typically see guys leave one rival school and go play for the other rival, right? That's just
both players of transfer have been DBs, right?
I believe there's only one transfer right now, right?
Okay, I thought you told me there was two. Yes,
well, that's what I was.
I know for a fact there's one transfer.
Yes,
I thought that happened a week ago.
Well, it happened last Friday. Jerry Jones. That's okay. The DB. The defensive lineman, Fabian Lovett, who we talked about before.
That's who I. Okay, yeah.
Now there was an article that came out today, and then I wrote it down. And as I was getting ready to start the show, I went to find the article so I could pull it up, and it was gone. So somebody either got some information. So now all I'm seeing is articles that he's trending to Ole Miss. Now, he announced back on April 13th that he was transferring to Florida State. And everybody wrote all these articles about it and blah, blah, blah. And then he didn't transfer to Florida. So he's still open and whatnot. And it looks like he's going to go to Ole Miss. So we'll just assume for now that Fabian Lovett is going to Ole Miss. That's two guys. Now, the Lovett thing, you can kind of understand it a little bit. Michael said, I really need to get down south and watch more SEC football. Yeah, 100%. Ben jumped to Twitch. He said, YouTube is broken. Already sounds dirty. I can't wait until 5 years some Leo Lewis stuff gets uncovered. Yeah, something's a little crazy with this because players don't go play for the rival. They just don't. Fabian Lovett is a defensive lineman. Lane Kiffin, when he got hired at Ole Miss, he hired Deke Adams, who is the defensive line coach at Mississippi State. Now, that kind of stuff happens. Yep. Players going to the rival school doesn't happen.
But we don't have just players transferring. We don't have a history of players transferring at the rate that they've been transferring the last 3 years even.
True.
Like before the last 3 years, I bet less than 20 kids have transferred that anybody knows anything about, that didn't go down or have down a division or a massive grade or whatever. It just didn't happen. In the last 3 years, it has become super normal. Yeah. So it's really hard to say this doesn't usually happen. If position coaches begin to leave for rival schools, I can assure you position players will follow as transferring becomes normal. Because those are the people that, A, recruited them to begin with, and B, they are the closest to on the team.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing here is Lovett had a really good relationship with him. And, that kind of makes sense. Now, the Jerry and Jones thing, I can – all right, Fletchy jumped in. He said, if we're dumb enough to tamper with state players, I'm officially handing in my Ole Miss fan card.
So I'll tell you this. As a Mississippi State person, I would not be upset about Jones leaving. Okay.
Yeah.
I would not be upset about losing the DB to my rival because let me tell you why. I know Mike Leach. I know my coach. When they play, I don't know what that score is going to look like. I don't know what that team's going to be. I know this. That kid's going to have game film that he will have to burn.
You were probably right about that.
Every time he is on the field, I assure you the ball is going his way. Leach will tell people the ball is going his way, and he will draw up plays to confuse everyone just to make that kid embarrassed because Leach is he's a couple of things. He's one, a genius, an absolute bona fide genius, offensive genius. Two, he is petty as hell.
Oh, 100%. Like he's definitely that. Huey said, new coach, new philosophy. You're going to get some guys that leave. He has to bring his own guys after Moorhead. Yes, 100%. I'm with you. But you haven't seen, and I understand that the times are changing. You're seeing more transfers and whatnot. But, and we've seen position coaches leave and go to rivals regularly. It happens. Whoever's going to pay you, that's where you got to go.
That's right.
But with kids, you don't see guys leave Ohio State to go to Michigan. You don't see Auburn players leave to go to Alabama. You don't see South Carolina players leave to go to Clemson. Like, that kind of thing doesn't happen. In the state of Mississippi, now, obviously, these are both, like, in-state kids and all that, so you're likely to see it because they're probably pretty tight with both coaching staffs, even if they're both brand new. Like, everybody knows everybody. You got friends on both sides. But
well, the other argument that you've got, Gary, is you just compared a school here and in Alabama and Auburn. There's a big separation between Alabama and Auburn. There's a big separation between Ohio State and Michigan. There's an entire planet between South Carolina and Clemson.
Agreed.
Yes, nobody is going from South Carolina to Clemson because they can't. Kids aren't going from Auburn to Alabama because they can't. There's nowhere to start for them.
Well, but okay, so maybe I should have worded it separately. You're not going to see kids going from Alabama to Auburn.
Like, yeah, you would you absolutely would if they thought they could go there and start and they weren't starting at Alabama. Right, you absolutely would. But problem is, if you're not going to play at Alabama, you probably can't play at Auburn either because there's not too big there. I bet you would see more kids from Clemson to South Carolina if you thought you couldn't make it. The problem is they don't let those kids go. They keep them there.
Yeah.
They don't transfer out at all. Why? Because you got a chance to get a ring. Even if you're sitting on the pine, you still get a ring.
Yeah. And that matters to a lot of people. A lot of people. Huey said the boosters at Ole Miss up their payments to the players. I swear. So I know we got Fletchy in here, his Ole Miss fan card and whatnot. Huey's got his state card showing. I understand how this goes, but it was a very interesting topic to me. If for no other reason than we don't typically see this. Like this is uncharted territory, really.
Whenever a position, we're going to start. Whenever a position coach starts to leave, because transferring is, but we don't have a lot. I would venture to say in the last 3 years, since transferring has become really a big thing, not a lot of position coaches have left their regular job for a rival.
Well, and Adams was unemployed because
but you look back 10 years and get that. You don't look back 3. Transferring's change. You're going to start seeing that. You're just going to. Yeah. It's going to happen.
You may be right. This is strange times. Strange times, my friend. Let's go on and move into some NFL talk, which isn't actually about the league itself or the players or whatever, but, it's interesting nonetheless. Peyton Manning was on with Rich Eisen today, and he is the white whale, right? Like he is who every broadcast network wants to come in to work NFL games. I don't necessarily know that he's going to be great at it. I would assume he is. And if you watch the match over the weekend, which according to the numbers, which were astronomical, it looks like everybody did. You would have to assume he's going to be really good at keeping an audience engaged.
Put him in front of a camera, and he's gold. Put a mic in his face, and he is just television gold.
100%. Like there were some that are surprising, like Tony Romo. I don't think any of us.
Yeah, no, I never foresaw that at all. No. Never thought Romo would be anywhere as good as he is.
So Manning has been courted by major networks and ESPN is the one that, we'll give you $15 million. We'll give you $20 million a year. Like,
they were throwing out big numbers for somebody who's never done it before.
Right. But he has not ended up in the booth. However, per this report, that doesn't mean that we're never going to hear his voice calling NFL games. He was on Rich Eisen today. This is what he told him. He said, I haven't said no forever. I've said no to this year. This just doesn't feel like the right time. He said, I hate sort of having this sort of check with me next year type deal, but that's really how I've approached this chapter of my life. I believe in taking it a year at a time. It's kind of your thing, right? So you don't know if you're going to make it the next 100 days or not.
That's right.
He said that's kind of what Eli's doing. I don't really have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. I hear people say that. I love playing football. I loved everything about it. I've just tried to ease into this second chapter by keeping myself busy, keeping myself stimulated, creating a lot of time for my family, and do some things I haven't had a chance to do. I love watching the games. I love going to games. It's just not in the cards for me right now. So if you are wanting Peyton Manning to eventually end up in the booth, this is a good sign. Because he's not saying he's never going to do it, and that's not who he is. He's saying, I'm just not really interested in it. And I can understand that, right? Because, initially, when you and I started this, it was, yeah, we really want to cover football. We want to really do this. But, if I want to take a weekend trip to wherever and I don't want to have to pay attention to all the games all the time, well, then I'd prefer to do that, Now, you and I are in a position where, we'll be covering games every Saturday and Sunday.
It's a responsibility.
Yes.
So it's a job. It's
and if you're Peyton Manning, who has been playing for years and years,
I made that kind of money and had the life he has, I would do exactly what he's doing. He's staying creative. He's doing Peyton places. Like he's still producing. He's still creating content. It's around the game of football. It's around whatever he wants it to be around. He's always entertaining. He's always great. But he gets to come and go as he pleases. He gets to make a new episode when he wants to. And if he wants to take 2-3 weeks off, then he can take 2-3 weeks off. And that's just whatever he wants to do, he gets to do. Yeah. He doesn't have to ask anybody's permission to go on Turner and do the match. If he was an ESPN employee, you might not get the match.
Yeah, that's true. That's
ESPN's got to cover it, or we're not doing it. Like, right now, it's one of those things where you can't have Peyton I don't want to ask permission to who I can hang out with.
Yeah.
He would have had to ask permission to go on Rich Eisen's show today. I don't want to ask permission. I just want to wake up and say, yeah, Rich wants to talk. Let's do it Thursday. Call me.
Yeah. I like your thinking there. I'm excited about the idea because
I want him to be in the booth at least once because I find him incredibly entertaining. And I'll never stop saying this. I want somebody to write them a sitcom. That's what I want. I want a television series on Netflix, wherever, where I can just stream them, and the Mannings are in my life.
Yeah, I'd be good with that. I'd be really good with that. We Restream is having problems today. Let me tell you, we got disconnected. We're back up and running, but whew, good gracious. I'm glad that we're recording today's video and the podcast because people lost us for about 2 minutes there. So let's go ahead and close out. Let's talk about this last topic here. Big news today, NBA. NBA jumped back. Shams reported it. There was a big meeting, like a telephone call, whatever it was. And basically, they have kind of set the timetable. Now, they haven't set exact dates, but they've got, the roundabout, right? Exactly when they're going to do things. And what they've decided is they're going to do in-market training camps in early July. So teams will be in Memphis. Hey, hold on. Michael said, I'd be more interested in him being the GM for Denver, but he'll be great at whatever he does. Talking about Manning. I can believe that. I think he's going to be good at everything.
I wouldn't want him to be a GM.
He'd sign up with offensive players.
Well, no, it's just
I'm playing.
You can't be engaging. You can't be entertaining. You can't talk to people. He is the most entertaining sports figure that we have in retirement in the history of sports.
Yeah. No, you want him to be able to talk, period.
And as long as he works for a team, he's going to have to stay quiet about everything. You'll never get his true opinion about anything.
True.
And you will lose all his personality.
Yeah.
All his value will be gone.
Yeah, I don't think I like that idea.
No.
All right, so the NBA timetable, back to that. In-market training camp in July. So, like, the Grizzlies will have a training camp in Memphis in July. Orlando will have a training camp in Orlando. The Knicks will have a training camp in New York and blah, 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 blah. Then you move down to Orlando and you do scrimmages, right? So you've got, like, your camp down there and you scrimmage against other teams. And then starting in late July or early August, they will, quote, return to play or resume play. Now, they did not specify yet. They've got another call on Friday. They didn't specify if resume play or return to play means we're just going to fire the season back up and roll it as we go, or if they're going straight to the playoffs, or if they're doing a play-in kind of tournament thing, or if they haven't explained any of that. So that's what we're looking forward to, but we do have at least a timetable of when the NBA is going to come back. Now, I am curious your thoughts on this, because before you will be able to watch an NBA basketball game, or at this point, a Major League Baseball game, or possibly even NHL, who knows, because we don't have a set timetable for that either, you're going to be able to go to theme parks. You're going to be able to go and do just about anything other than watch sports on television. How do you feel about that?
I think some of these leagues have, this is my opinion. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not responsible for any of this. And I also am not responsible for listening to the players of my league. I think they've waited too long to put these plans into place.
I agree.
Disney is going to open up, and 20,000 people are going to man that stadium, that park. They're just going to flock in as many as they'll let.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's just it. And what they don't let in, there's going to be just droves of people outside waiting for somebody to walk out so they can walk in.
Yes.
Okay. That is going to happen. And you have a team of about, in the NBA's perspective, 20 people total, coaches and players, and you can't get those guys together?
That's what drives me nuts, is you're waiting too long. If you start in August for the NBA.
I know all the social distancing stuff says groups of 10, but what's the difference between the group of 10 and the group of 20 if all of you are being mandated by your employer, to social distance and quarantine?
And quarantine and be tested when you get there, and all that.
I just think that these guys have missed an opportunity to take over and own the summer. And also, if these parks are opening up and they're going to let tens of thousands of people in, then there's no reason to not let people in attendance to these games either.
Well, I'm curious.
What is the reason behind, so we can have 20,000 deep at Disney World and Universal, but you won't let 5,000 people come watch a basketball game or a hockey game? I don't get it.
I'm not even concerned.
I don't get the math on that. Well, that's all. Like I said, I'm not a doctor.
I'm not concerned about the crowds. Like, have it with no fans. That's perfectly fine. What I'm trying to figure out is why would you wait until August to play a game with no fans in the stands?
Yeah,
because then
I don't understand that. You waited too long to even start working out. Yes. They should have been working out a long time ago because they're much smaller, especially the NBA.
What's stopping them from doing it like in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah,
like that's what I don't get.
Nothing.
Like
nothing.
It's just
why are we waiting until July to start working out?
Michael jumps in on Twitch. He said, "How are they going to compete with football if they wait that long?" They're not.
Oh, they're just going to have to. They're going to compete. They are going to compete with football.
Yeah, they're going to compete, but nothing competes with football. Football trumps everything.
That's right. They're going to make sure their games aren't on Sundays. And if college football is not going, they're going to not have games on Saturdays anymore either. Guess what?
I mean, it's
or they're going to have early games or late games. They're going to find like a weird window of time where there's not a game going on.
It's if you've ever gone back and looked at the ratings, if NBA, like when the NBA starts in October and
shitty Thursday night football games against the Titans and the Jags get NBA finals numbers.
Yes. He said, or Mondays and Thursdays.
No, you can play all day Monday. You just can't play Monday night.
Yeah.
You can play all day Thursday. You just can't play Thursday night. You better start at noon.
And then, of course, if you're still running it whenever they start the Tuesday night games in the middle of October and whatnot.
No, they won't care about college football.
I'm just saying there's going to be.
They won't care about college football.
I understand that they won't care about it, but what I'm saying is they are going to still get beat by games between Akron and Ohio.
No, they won't. No, they won't. If they're playoff games by then, they won't. That they won't do. College football games on Tuesday nights do not trump NBA playoff games. They just don't.
I mean, well, yeah, okay, maybe not NBA playoff.
They go up against them right now during the regular season. They start in October, and we got those Tuesday night games in October. The whole month, and in November. And the NBA regular season does better than those games, so it's fine.
Ben said, yes, everyone loves Akron and Ohio. Yeah. And then Ben said, only if Pat's in the booth. Yeah, I want Pat McAfee in the booth for Monday Night Football. I don't think it's going to happen. They don't want that risk. But I'll tell you this, it'd be significantly more entertaining than it has been. For the love of God, get McAfee in the booth.
I don't want somebody to just be entertaining. I want them to just call the game. That's all I want.
Well, I think that's the thing.
Show in the booth.
McAfee knows
football. You and I see McAfee totally different. I see McAfee as a sideshow. He's a comedy act, and he's great at what he does. But I don't want shtick on my Monday Night Football. I would like a professional crew. It shouldn't be that damn hard to find a professional crew.
Yeah, I mean, they want a name, though, don't they?
But that's stupid. This is the problem that we keep getting into anyway, is they keep trying to force a name on people, and people with names aren't good. The best guy that I have heard call NFL games that's not Tony Romo or Chris Collinsworth is Nate Burleson. But nobody gives a shit about Nate Burleson. He was a mediocre receiver in Detroit 80% of his life. No one cares. But he's really good at it.
Okay, I can buy that.
He's really good. But nobody cares because he doesn't have a name. That's the problem.
Why don't we just forget about the name?
They don't want somebody who's good at their job.
Why don't we just build a name? Like, that's what ESPN needs to be looking at. Like,
but that's it. Yeah, find some kid that's good. Find some player that's really good. Find somebody that's good at it. Give them the job, and guess what? Ratings will come. They will then get a name. You'll get them on the cheap for the first couple of years, and then they'll demand to get paid a whole lot because they become a star.
Ben said Pat would be good with a good analyst and a play-by-play guy. Michael said the NBA should have taken advantage of people craving live sports with nothing else to do. They missed that window. That's a terribly run league. I told our group chat today, like, the problem that we've got right now, why we don't have a set plan, why we don't have whatever, is because Adam Silver is, like, everybody – I'll tell you this. I love Roger Goodell for this and this alone. Like, he gets everybody on the same page, and they go forward with a plan. Adam Silver doesn't have a plan. He has no idea.
Adam Silver's not a living, breathing commissioner. Adam Silver,
he's not a leader.
He literally has LeBron James's hand up his rectum, and he's just a puppet for whatever the stars want to do.
Yes.
He gets on the phone with 5 best players in the league and says, what do you guys want? And if they can't come up with an idea, he takes the bullets, and that's it. It's not he's a player's commissioner or whatever, or an owner's commissioner. He's a nobody's commissioner. What does LeBron want? That's all he does. That's it. That's the list. He's not a live thing. He's Uncle Bernie.
I think he appeases the owners as well, because he listens to the owners. He listens to the players.
I think if he listened to the owners, that had played a long time ago.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Michael said Adam Silver is always concerned with what the media is going to say. Yeah. Like, I'll tell you this, the media wouldn't say anything. But who controls
the media in sports?
I don't know.
Say one negative thing about LeBron. Instantly, boom, access is cut off. You never get another highlight the rest of your life.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't know which direction you were going with that. But, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's bonkers. It's crazy. I don't like it, but whatever.
Tell them to go to work.
Yeah.
Quit asking questions. Quit asking people what they want to do. Find out what's safe, put a plan together, mitigate the risk the best you can, and tell them to go to work. And if they choose to not, that's fine. And if you have to play this thing out without them, that's fine. But some of them will show up, and somebody's going to get crowned a champion. And then they're going to wave that ring in that dude's face the next 6 months.
Somebody will play, and somebody will be on TV in front of massive numbers. Yeah. I mean, you saw it. Fletcher said, Gary, ask Chris how he's planning on affording Tom Brady's $300,000 Cadillac that he just put up for sale.
No, I'm not buying that. No, I don't have that. I'm not a big memorabilia guy. 80% of the memorabilia I got was gifted to me. So if somebody wants to give it to me, I probably couldn't afford the taxes on it. But
Michael said, great show, fellas. Headed to Denver tomorrow. I'll jump in if I got a chance. Hey, yeah. Tell us what's up. He said, giggle.
Be safe.
Ben said they had two other guys with Pat for the Akron versus Ohio games on Tuesday nights, and it was very good. We actually did an interview with Adam Amin. We got to
see, that's the thing.
Yeah,
McAfee's
really good guy.
That team was unbelievable because I think Hasselbeck is great. Hasselbeck already does more NFL than college stuff anyway.
Yep.
I would still he's a former, but he's not a big star name. He is unbelievable though.
That Thursday night crew was really good. I mean, we got to we sat and talked with Amin.
I would take a meme and him in a heartbeat.
And then McAfee, I mean, we sat and talked with him in a hotel lobby for, 20 minutes or whatever. And all of them know their stuff, and they're really personable, really energetic.
Pat doesn't know his thing. Pat has a shtick that he's never going to get out of, and that's fine. That's fine. He's always going to be the goofball, and he's always going to be the wild man, and that's okay, and that has its place. I don't want that on my Monday night crew. I just don't. I want a grown up in the booth. But that's my opinion. I'm an old man, and I want somebody to call the game. That's all I want.
Yeah, don't make it about you. You had enough Gruden.
Call the game.
Yeah, you had enough Gruden. You don't need that.
Yes. John Gruden made the entire telecast about John Gruden.
Yeah.
I don't want that. He had the number one guy next to him in Mike Tirico for a long time, and he cocked it up.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. All right, we've gone 45 minutes. I think we're good for today. Is there anything else that's popped up that you think we need to hit?
No, not that I've seen. There was something that hit early this morning, and I was driving, and I was like, I need to remember that. As soon as I got stopped, I went to find that article, and now I couldn't even tell you what it's about. I mean, I don't even know what sport it covered.
See, I'm looking. I don't
gone.
See.
It's gone. I don't know what. I might have dreamed it while I was driving. Hell, I don't know. I saw it.
Well, I saw the Fabian Lovett article about him committing to Ole Miss, and then it was gone.
I knew it wasn't that.
And then it was gone. It just disappeared. I mean, we could have talked about Musa Cisse reclassifying to the class of 2020.
There's a chance it might have been that.
I mean, that happened early this morning. Musa Cisse, 2021 top 10 player, plays at Lausanne in Memphis. He's going to announce, I think his top 5 is Georgetown, Kentucky, Memphis, something.
Isn't Texas Tech on there?
Maybe. Mac McClung committed to Texas Tech today, so that may be where you're getting that.
That's it. Okay, that's it.
But Musa Cisse,
Fletcher's little brother was following that on Twitter. That was my way around following that.
Yeah,
just following Scott.
So we're just trying to figure out what's going to happen with Musa Cisse and whatnot. It wasn't a massive story, but definitely interesting in the city of Memphis, as he is a Memphis City kid, and or at least he plays here. I mean, he just moved here last year, and it looks like he likely will play for the Tigers, but we'll see. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys know what to do. Go over to winningcureseverything.com. Make sure you are subscribed on all of our live platforms as well as our podcast feed. Today's show, obviously, you missed about 3 minutes because our live streaming thing is having issues today for whatever reason. They can't connect to YouTube. They dropped off of Facebook for whatever reason. I mean, it's just a disaster. So go get the podcast because that one is always going to be there. You ain't ever got to worry about nothing. We record that separately through our little audio interface over here. I'll have that up in about 20 minutes or so, and you can grab that. So subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you leave a nice review. Make sure you subscribe to all the live feeds so you can jump in on the chat with us. We would definitely appreciate that. Share the show out. Tell your friends about it. Go to tunicatravel.com. Tunica, Mississippi, the South's premier sports gaming destination, is open. They are rocking and rolling. All 6 sports books are ready to take your bet. And we got sports going on. We got PGA Tour. We got NASCAR. We got all kind of stuff going on. So if you want to go toss a few dollars down, you can do that now in person in Tunica, Mississippi. Tunicatravel.com is the website. Everybody, make sure that you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll be back again same time tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.